All right, so welcome all in the weekly webinar of Market Masterclass with Religare. So in this webinar, we talk about the market performance during the week, the key sectors, laggards, top performers from the Nifty 50 basket, alongside with the losers, and our view on the key indices and some of the stocks which should be on your radar. What change that we have made to this is that we have started adding the part which is critical in Hindi also as a summary, so that we can cater to the larger audience. So basically देखिए स्वागत है आपका वीकली वेबिनार में मार्केट मास्टर क्लास विद रेलिगर में। अभी तक ये वेबिनार्स लार्जली इंग्लिश में होते थे, बट क्योंकि रिक्वेस्ट हुई कि हिंदी में भी अगर हम इसको कर पाए तो लार्जली ये रहेगा इंग्लिश में ही। जस्ट जो की पार्ट्स होंगे उसको हम हिंदी में डेफिनेटली समरी करेंगे, उसके बारे में बात करेंगे, उसके बारे में हाईलाइट करेंगे। एंड ड्यूरिंग द Q&A ऑल्सो, जो कि कोई भी सवाल होगा आपका उस टाइम पे भी वी कैन इंटरैक्ट अकॉर्डिंगली। सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड विद disclaimer first that it's an educational webinar. The information which we share is more for education purpose only, and it's not a trading or an investment recommendation. So before making any decision based on the information shared, please check with the financial advisor. So देखिए ये वेबिनार का मेन पर्पस ये है कि जो भी हमारे ऑब्जर्वेशन है मार्केट से रिलेटेड उसको हम शेयर करें एजुकेशनल पर्पस के लिए। तो ये कोई ट्रेडिंग और इन्वेस्टमेंट रिकमेंडेशन नहीं है, तो वो इस इंफॉर्मेशन को यूज करने से पहले अपने फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर से जरूर हेल्प ले आप। Now coming to the market performance, benchmark performance first. So again, volatile week, but finally today on Friday, we saw that the benchmark gained over 1.5%. So which helped both Nifty and Sensex to gain over 0.5% on the closing basis. Among the sectors, IT, realty, auto, financial, banking, they were the one which could manage to end in the green, wherein IT was clear-cut a winner with 4%, 4.5% kind of gains. At the same time, media, energy, metal and pharma, they've ended on a negative note. And lastly, the Nifty 50 performance. Interestingly, if you see the left side of the table of top 5 gainers, all are IT majors. So TechM, Wipro, HCL Tech, Infosys, TCS, all IT counters. At the same time, losing side, Divi's Lab, Coal India, Dr. Reddy's, Adani Ports and NTPC. They were the top losers, mainly due to the profit taking. तो देखिए लास्ट वीक का ये समरी है बेसिकली कि दूसरा हफ्ता था, ये तीसरा हफ्ता लगातार जहां पे कि हम मार्केट का नेगेटिव टोन के साथ ट्रेड देख रहे थे। बट फ्राइडे के दिन, आज के दिन जिस तरीके से रिकवरी आई, उसने पूरे टोन को चेंज कर दिया। निफ्टी को, सेंसेक्स को, दोनों को करीब करीब 0.5% से ज्यादा के गेन के साथ बंद हुए। सेक्टोरल फ्रंट पे आईटी आउटराइटली इसमें विनर रहा, 4.5% से ज्यादा के गेन। बाद में फिर रियल्टी, ऑटो और ये बाकी सारे सेक्टर्स आते हैं। गेनिंग साइड पे भी सारे ही नाम आपको आईटी मेजर्स नजर आएंगे निफ्टी 50 बास्केट में, और वहीं पे लूजिंग साइड पे दूसरे सेक्टर्स से भी हमने देखा कि चाहे वो फार्मा हो, चाहे वो एनर्जी हो, जहां से कि प्रॉफिट टेकिंग देखने को मिली। नाउ व्हाट वी आर एंटिसिपेटिंग, सो दिस इज द डेली ग्राफ ऑफ निफ्टी, एंड we were here till a day before, means in the last trading session, right? And this was a zone basically in which we were trading in 24,000, 24,400. So if you remember last time, like, we were discussing that until we cross and close decisively about 24,400, this range bound move would continue with 24,000 being the key support. So finally, we have crossed the hurdle of 24,400. Also, we have reclaimed this short-term average, 20 EMA. So what next? So this gap, as you can see that there was a gap in the daily graph. This portion close to around 24,700. That's the zone Nifty is likely to test now. And once we cross that, then a new high means 25,100, which we've inched closer to, during the last up move. That will be the next hurdle area. And in case if there'll be any dip, then 24,000 first major support, and then 23,700. That will be the next ultimate support. So this is zone that we are seeing for the index. So clearly the bias is on positive side now after this break, with 24,700 and 25,100 being the next major targets. Let's talk about banking now. How we are seeing banking. So this is the daily graph of banking. So banking, as we know, and we have discussed multiple times also, that we were seeing underperformance from the banking pack, or we were anyways trading closer to the major averages, this zone, this green line, right? Last week also we have tested that mark, this week also around 100 EMA. But on Friday, banking also recovered very sharply and ended with decent gains. But when it comes to the short-term average, this 20 EMA, which is around 50,800 mark, we have yet to reclaim that level. So though there's a respect of the previous swing low, right? But still we have resistance nearby. So for banking, unlike Nifty, we feel that one should wait for the confirmation above 50,800 close to change the bias. If you remember, we just shared that IT was the major sector key contributor. Banking could manage to end marginally in green, almost on a flat note. So it's IT basically which is dictating the trend right now. So for banking, 50,800, that's the key hurdle. Once we break that, then 52,000. This red line retest is something that we might see. This trend line retest around 52,000 levels. Downside 49,500, 48,600. This first this area and then this. Sorry, this. Right? So indications are still mixed when it comes to private banking majors. So it was Axis, ICICI, which were seeing some recovery. HDFC have seen a pause. So there's no clear indication from HDFC, but yeah, rest of the counters, they have started seeing some traction, some recovery. So for banking, still we are largely in wait and watch mode, and 50,800, that's the make or break area. तो देखिए दोनों इंडाइसेस की हमने बात कर ली, निफ्टी और बैंकिंग की, कि जहां पे निफ्टी में ब्रेकआउट आ चुका है 24,000 24,400 की जो रेंज थी वो हमने ब्रेक कर दी है. 24,700 25,100 के लेवल्स नजर आ रहे हैं. नीचे पे 24,000 जो मेजर सपोर्ट रहेगा आने वाले टाइम में भी, और 23,700. तो अभी बट इंडिकेशन ये है कि पहले आप 24,700 को फिल करेंगे, इस गैप को फिल करेंगे जो कि डेली चार्ट पे है, और उसके बाद आप नए हाई के लिए भी अटेम्प्ट करेंगे. तो यहाँ पे तो बिल्कुल क्लियर कट ट्रेंड है. बैंकिंग थोड़ा सा अंडर परफॉर्मेंस जो काफी टाइम से चलता आ रहा है, इसकी वजह से थोड़ा सा अभी यहाँ पे अभी भी कॉशन है, जब तक कि 50,800 को आप ब्रेक करके क्लोज नहीं करते हो. तो बैंकिंग में आपको 50,800 का वेट करना है, क्लोज का वेट करना है. अकॉर्डिंगली आपको अपनी पोजीशंस को भी रखना है. राइट, नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट स्टॉक्स, वेयर टू फोकस. So though we are out of wood when it comes to Nifty, because we have crossed the immediate hurdle and we are inching higher, but still I feel that the focus should be more on stocks where downside seems capped, means where the risk reward is favorable, where we are not chasing momentum right now, because managing risk is more important at present, and the other things will fall in place on their own. So now coming to the first name, Kenfin Homes from the NBFC basket. So as you can see on this graph itself, In past also in our webinars, we've shared about this stock that, after this major consolidation, it was hovering in a very tight band, followed by a surge, and then again a retracement towards that neckline area of the pattern, offering fresh buying opportunity. So here we have question multiple supports around 750s 800 zone. So this kind of stocks is something that one can look at. Even if, let's say, the market bias changes, let's say if we break 24,000 due to some reason or the other, at least the damage on the stock specific front in stock like this is going to be capped, considering that there's noticeable buying interest around this 750-800 zone for Can Fin Homes. So there's one stock which one can look to accumulate in the coming week. Next, HCL Tech, IT top leader within the IT. HCL Tech almost reached to its record highs. And third important aspect is that it was anyways leading the IT recovery since the beginning. So all three factors indicate that this positive tone, this recovery is likely to strengthen further for HCL Tech. So this is one stock from the IT basket which one can look at, right? And lastly on the list, a defensive name, ITC. So here also, after the strong surge, we have been seeing consolidation for the last 2-3 weeks. So it's basically a pivot formation. So after this, we were seeing this consolidation, major consolidation, a breakout followed by marginal dip towards the neckline area of the pattern. And again, 2-3 weeks of consolidation. So it seems set for the next leg of the up move when it comes to the daily and weekly graph. So there is one stock which one can look to accumulate, considering the market tone, which is bullish, but still we have multiple hurdles to look at. देखिए, इंडेक्स के बाद जब हमने स्टॉक्स में बात की तो हमने 3 नामों की बात की, कैन फिन होम्स, HCL टेक और ITC की. तीनों ही पॉजिटिव साइड के लिए अच्छे लग रहे हैं. रीजन देखिए, यहाँ पे मार्केट में एक ये जरूर है कि 24,400 को ब्रेक कर दिया है तो अब 24,700 की तरफ जा रहे हैं. ये सब चीजें अच्छी लग रही है, बट स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक वॉलिटिलिटी अभी भी काफी ज्यादा है और बहुत सारे स्टॉक्स हैं जो कि अभी भी पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर रहे हैं या फिर आपके भी पोर्टफोलियो में होंगे जो कि अभी भी गिर ही रहे हैं या फिर बढ़े नहीं आज. तो यहाँ पे स्टॉक सिलेक्शन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. और दूसरा रिस्क मैनेजमेंट भी, कि जो कि आपके सपोर्ट के पास हैं जो स्टॉक्स, वो ज्यादा बेटर है. बिकॉज वहां पे आपका रिस्क टू रिवॉर्ड थोड़ा कंफर्टेबल रहेगा. मार्केट में वॉलिटिलिटी होगी तब भी शायद वो इतना इम्पैक्ट ना करे. तो वैसे ही 3 नाम, कैन फिन होम्स, HCL टेक और ITC, इनको नेक्स्ट वीक के लिए आप लॉन्ग पोजीशंस के लिए देख सकते हैं. So this is all from the presentation part. Now we'll do a quick feedback poll and then you can start asking any questions related to the webinar. Yeah. So please fill in your feedback and then you can start using that Q&A button to use your ask your questions. So कोई भी सवाल है आपका, Q&A बटन जो आपकी स्क्रीन पे नजर आ रहा है उसको यूज करते हुए आप पूछ सकते हैं. So those who are done with the feedback, they can start posting their question now. All right, so let's end this feedback now and let's start with Q&A. So Mr. Rajendra, please write your question. जो भी आपका सवाल है आप लिख कर पूछ सकते हैं instead of using that raise an option button. Okay, so again, so many stock specific queries. So I would request, so please restrict your questions to the sector so that it benefits the larger audience. Because individual stocks पे जाएंगे तो बहुत सारी queries हो जाएंगी, किसी का भी help नहीं हो पाएगा. तो basically सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक रहेंगे तो आपको थोड़ा सा एक आइडिया मिल पाएगा. Still, we would answer in a similar manner. So first, we have question from Pragati Parekh on NBFC sector. So largely, this sector is showing mixed indication. Like we've just shared about Kenfin Home uh, being a potential buying candidate. But at the same time, we are still seeing certain stocks like Bajaj Finance, which are reeling under pressure. So that tone would continue. So within the sector, we might continue to see certain stocks continue to reel under pressure while the quality counters inching higher. So for a time being now, I feel that if it's short-term trade in this sector, stick with the names where the trend is aligned to the index. See, मेरा जवाब क्या है NBFC सेक्टर को लेकर और अदरवाइज ऑल्सो अगर आप इस टाइम की मार्केट में बाय कर रहे हैं जो कि कल तक लास्ट ट्रेडिंग सेशन तक मार्केट का बायस नेगेटिव था और उसके बावजूद भी अगर आप बाय करके बैठे हुए हैं या बाय कर रहे हैं तो उन स्टॉक्स उन सेक्टर्स को देखना है जहां पे की स्ट्रेंथ है वो उस क्वांटम में नहीं गिर रहा है जिस क्वांटम में निफ्टी गिर रही है या बैंक निफ्टी गिर रही है. और अगर आपका स्टॉक गिर रहा है या उससे ज्यादा गिर रहा है तो इट मीन्स आप गलत स्टॉक में बैठे हुए हैं. आपको स्टॉप लॉस का मतलब जो एक नेगेटिव नोशन है इसके साथ कि मेरा नुकसान हो गया वो बेसिकली आपको कैपिटल प्रोटेक्ट करता है. तो प्लीज मेक श्योर व्हेन वी आर ट्रेडिंग वी हैव अ क्लियर स्टॉप लॉस इन प्लेस especially in the market like this where we are seeing excessive volatility. So I hope it answers your query. Like stock like Bajaj Finance which are underperforming, it's prudent that one should act accordingly and use any recovery to reduce your position if the view is short term. Similarly, we have Reha Jayarath. There's a query on PSU banks. So again, this sector is also underperforming in line with what we are seeing in the private banking majors. It's no different. So except SBI, majority of these stocks are trading in the pressure. So I feel that in case if banking has to recover, then private banking majors are likely to outshine the PSU pack, at least in the short run. This is what the indications are. So our preference is Axis, ICICI, HDFC. These names is something that one should prefer. And in the PSU pack, SBI. Rest of the name one should wait at least for a time being now until we see some very strong recovery or indication. Okay, so Mr. Rahul has question again on the stock specific, but in IT, we suggest preferring IT majors for a time being now because we are seeing recovery. So a couple of factors basically which are helping this recovery. One is the recovery in the tech heavy US indices, and otherwise also we are anticipating that with cutting the interest rate in the US market that would help and strengthen the possibility of recovery in the IT services demand in US and European market. So IT majors are the one basically which are less volatile and they've showed noticeable resilience during the earnings also. So for a time being now, it's prudent that one should stick with the IT majors, not mid cap or small cap IT names. Okay, so on private banking sector, Mr. Ishwar has questioned. So private banking majors, 50,800 if Nifty has to cross, then we just shared that private banking should take a lead. HDFC Bank is slightly on the back foot of late after this recent dip. So if the expectation is for the short term, then I feel that it might disappoint at least in the near future because to reclaim this positivity and to surpass 1660, 1670 zone, it might spend some time around the current levels. So other private banking majors along with SBI is something that one should prefer if the view is short term. Okay, Mr. Sunil has question on energy sector, which picks any picks. So see, energy as a pack is currently mixed, where I see decisiveness is the OMC pack. Why OMC? If you have noticed that in this entire correction, both BPCL and HPCL, they didn't participate much on the downside. They were trading in a very tight range. So that clearly shows the outperformance. Then the other names, be it the gas distribution also, like MGL, IGL, they are also holding pretty strong. So this two basket, OMCs and gas distribution, is something that one can keep on radar if the view is short term. Okay. Sanket Singh, he has question on again a banking name, private banking name. So my response would be the same, that stocks which are underperforming within the sector, please accept this, that we are in the wrong view. Right? So be it IndusInd Bank, RBL Bank, Bandhan Bank, Kotak, they are all underperforming. It's not from this decline, but from the almost the entire run that we have seen in the recent surge. So please, avoid the underperformers, especially if we are seeing very short-term horizon. Yeah, the answer could be different if the horizon is long-term. Okay, next, Mr. Roshan Patel has question on defense and FMCG. So FMCG for sure, Mr. Roshan, stock like HUL, ITC, Britannia, Colgate, they all are trading very strong. So one can continue to stay put. Defense, we suggest being very selective. They are still expensive, though they have retraced roughly around 20-30% from the recent highs. But still, we feel that the kind of surge that we had in the defense-related stock in the recent past, the possibility of maintaining or extending the recovery seems difficult. So they might underperform. Even if they recover, they might underperform the other sectors. So for a time being now, defense is still an avoid until we see some very strong sign of buying interest. Again, stock specific queries, but I'll answer in this way for chemical related stocks. So last week we had this one name, Aarti Industries, post the management guidance tanked sharply, and but still, majority of the name from the chemical space, they are holding strong. But when it comes to the outperformance, is restricted to only the handful of names. So in this entire move, and maybe in next couple of months also, we'll continue to see very selective stocks outperforming the benchmark and broader indices. So in every space, the best thing that one can do is, since the earnings season is also over, and if you have invested into any of these names, please revisit your portfolio and identify the laggards. For some reason or the other, here the management has guided, so that's why we are seeing this decline. But otherwise also, if the company has not done well based on the financials and how the management has guided for the coming quarters, if required, you can replace with somebody, something which is looking comparatively better in that space. So for Aarti Industries also, we feel that the downside seemed capped because the stock have already declined very sharply. But at least for the buying side, I won't recommend until we see some sign of reversal. So, Mr. Sunil, we usually talk about stocks which we feel can do potentially well during the presentation itself, like we've shared about HCL Tech, ITC, and Kenfin. And in energy space, we have already named like OMCs and gas distribution. So it's completely on your own discretion. How do you want to approach these names? So just to remind you that it's not a trading or investment recommendation. If you are associated with us, definitely you can get in touch with the respective branch and the business partner, and they'll help you out with this. Okay, next, Mr. Manoj Pandey on outlook on auto sector. So yes, auto sector also we are seeing mixed trend wherein the auto majors they are doing exceptionally well, especially M&M, Maruti, TVS so far is also holding strong. At the same time, Hero MotoCorp post numbers is struggling. Tata Motors is also trading in similar tone. So I feel that here also the same formula applies, wherein stocks and sectors which are stocks which are doing relatively better within the sector should be your preference. So Bajaj Auto, yes, alongside with Maruti and M&M, these are the top three names if somebody is looking for short-term bets. So, Mr. Mehta, we have already discussed about defense stocks. So, my view remains the same that though we have seen correction, but I still feel that we have further room for downside. So, if it's a short-term position, you should definitely maintain some stop losses based on your risk appetite. And, even if it is long-term, then also you should keep a close watch on how these companies are, announcing their numbers, their earnings, so that this higher valuation which they are currently trading in justifies, and then we could see some further up move. So as of now, it seems unlikely, at least in the near future. Okay, there's an anonymous attendee on tire stocks. So this space is again after a strong surge in the auto pack and ancillary space. We are seeing correction. So I feel that we are done with the correction largely when it comes to the tire counters, but recovery is also going to be gradual. So for time being now, it's prudent that one should accumulate them instead of going outrightly long. So if your view is, let's say 1 to 2 months, then at current levels, let's say you accumulate 20-30% and remaining on any 4 to 5% kind of a decline. So प्रगति जी का क्वेश्चन है डिफेंस स्टॉक्स. देखिए मैंने इस पूरी डिस्कशन में यही चीज कहा है कि डिफेंस स्टॉक्स को बाय नहीं करना है अगर व्यू शॉर्ट टर्म का है तो. रीजन अभी भी ये ओवर वैल्यूड हैं, अभी भी ये ओवर बॉट हैं, दोनों ही पैरामीटर्स में भी, टेक्निकली और फंडामेंटली. तो यहाँ पे अगर आपका व्यू शॉर्ट टर्म है, जो करेक्शन आ चुका है उसके बाद भी ये अभी भी चैलेंजिंग एनवायरनमेंट है इनके लिए. ऑलरेडी स्टॉक काफी स्ट्रांगली मूव कर चुके हैं, तो इनको अर्निंग्स जस्टिफाई करनी पड़ेगी कि जिन लेवल्स पे ये ट्रेड कर रहे हैं वो ठीक है. अभी तक जो करेक्शन आया है उसके बाद भी अभी भी रूम है, बीच बीच में थोड़ा बहुत रीबाउंड बाउंस आता रहेगा. तो अगर आपके पास शॉर्ट टर्म में कोई स्टॉक है, फंसे हुए हैं, निकलना चाहते हैं, यू कैन यूज दैट रीबाउंड. But if you want to invest fresh, then it's correctly not the right time. You should wait and at least 15-20% more. If we see correction, then probably we can have better levels to enter. Okay. Metal counters, Mr. Santosh Kumar has question on metal counters. So metal is something which is completely on the back foot. Earlier, it was due to the global reasons. Now we have some domestic reasons also. So keeping that in mind, I feel for a time being, metal is one sector which you should avoid. So within the metal, like VEDL is one which is holding strong, but the rest of the stocks, they are reeling under pressure. So avoid metal for a time being now. So if I have to name any particular sector to avoid for the next week, then metal tops the list. Okay, Mr. Mehta has question, which is, separate from what we are discussing, query on MF. So can we put money in mid cap and small cap funds? So, Mr. Mehta, if your time horizon is long term, means 3 years, 5 years, at least, then it is okay to make investment in mid cap and small cap. Less than that, go with this SIP route. Okay, so Shivagiri ji has question again on banks. So we have already shared our preference that stick with the top names. Please avoid this second rank, third rank stocks, at least for a time being now. So the kind of surge that we were seeing earlier, when all the stock from sector was performing well, that might not be the scenario in this recovery, because at least for a short term now, means for a month or two, I'm not anticipating any outrightly bullish tone that we were seeing it earlier. Right? So be very selective and stick only with the quality names. Okay, next question from Mr. Sanket Singh is pharma and chemical. So chemical we have already discussed. We will talk about pharma. So pharma, yes. Here also we are seeing select stocks doing exceptionally well. So be it Lupin, Sun Pharma, Granules has done exceptionally well from the mid-cap pharma's basket. We have discussed Granules multiple times in the past. Then we have stock like Dr. Reddy's, Divi's, which are finally seeing some correction after a long outperformance. So this pack look mixed. Again, I would recommend just the easiest way to identify your potential gainers or stock which you should be on focusing on. Just sort the pharma counters based on their weekly performance. The top gainers is something that you should be focusing on, the top 3 for the next week if you are planning any trade. Short term, if you are stuck in the underperformers, please use recovery, especially if it's a trading position, to reduce your positions. So, okay, last we have sugar sector. So sugar, like we have discussed last week also, that's more because of the ethanol news, related news, which we see sugar counter gaining traction. So within this space, Balrampur Chini is leading from the front. Then we have another player like Praj Industries, which are also into this, performing exceptionally well. The rest of the name, they see mixed performance. Every now and then we see some respite, some recovery, but sustainability seems difficult based on the past performance also. So stick with the top names, something that we recommend within this space. So with this, we have answered all the queries. So thank you everyone for participating, and next week, same time, same place, we'll connect again. Thank you. Thank you so much.